Hi, this is Glenda, and in today's soap making video, I'm going to start by giving you a quick overview on how I made a silicone column mold with my 3D printer. The mold is to make an embed of my dog Queenie, and I have her picture here that I am using the quick selection tool in Photoshop to pretty much copy her and paste it into a white background. Then I converted it into a black and white image so that it will all turn black. Now there's many ways to achieve this. This is just what I happen to do. The object was to be able to save this file as a PNG file. And the PNG file, I'm going to upload it to a website called convertio.co. And this is going to convert it into another image file, which for me is going to be SVG. SVG is the type of file that a website called tinkercad.com, and that is a free website to create. It's a basic website, let me tell you, but it's pretty handy to create 3D printing designs. Now I already made mine. I did it back in October, but I just wanted to give you an overview of how I did it. I'm going to link in the description box below a video that I watched that helped me figure out how to do it. So this is the column that I ended up with, which is essentially what the embed will look like. I made a mold with corrugated plastic where I was going to adhere the embed to and where I'm going to pour the silicone. I have a video on how to make this and I'm going to link it up above in case you're interested. At the moment, I'm sealing every corner to make sure that there won't be any leakage. I'm going to fill this with water to help me estimate how much silicone I will need and also to make sure that there will be no leaks. I did the test and that's why you may see some water drops on it. I'm trying to figure out how to position it inside the plastic cardboard mold. As you can see, my column is hollow because I did not want to use a lot of filament, because the more filament you use, the longer it takes to print and also the more material you're using. So I bought this from Amazon. I'm going to include a link in the description box. It seems very easy. Equal amounts. Mix them, then pour. I chose this one because it gives you about 50 minutes of working time. And there was another one that only gives you 7 minutes. And I was concerned that I wasn't going to be able to mix it thoroughly in 7 minutes. The process was actually fairly easy on making the mold. You just have part A and part B and you mix it in equal amounts by volume, and you just need to stir them in and then pour it into your piece. Now, since I already have many scales in the craft room, I decided just to wait part A and part B, and also because I like being exact sometimes. This was my first time attempting to make a mold this big. So I watched a few videos to help me understand the process. One of them that I found helpful was the one from Dean Wilson, who explained how you need to pour it from a height to help get rid of the bubbles. I will link his video below too in case you want to watch it. Initially, I was going to make a column mold like the one from the video that I mentioned earlier. However, later when I was contemplating how Lisa from Eye Draining Soap made her cat mold, I figured that was a great idea to just make it as a kind of like a love mold, because then it will be easier to ensure that there is no leakage. And I'm sure you've already seen her video, but in case you haven't, I will post it below as well. So after blending this for a long time until I did not see any white streaks, I started pouring it into the mold from one spot until it was almost full. I realized that the top layer was actually very thin. It didn't look like I had enough of the mix, and this is probably because I made my corrugated plastic board too wide. It should have been more narrow, now that I think about it. To fix this momentarily, I put some heavy objects next to the mold and I also taped it just to make the mix come up and cover the top. And then after 4 hours, it was ready to come out. I actually waited overnight since I had done this late at night. So the next morning, I removed everything. I removed the mold and then release the column embed from the middle of it. To do this, I cut through the thinner end and also the end where I will be pouring the soap from. So here is my mold, which means that the requisite of making a mold from the collaboration is completed. I can make the embed. I'm first adding ROE to the oils. The oils are a little bit too cold. They are at 81 Fahrenheit, so I'm going to warm them up. The light water solution was at 25 Celsius or 75 Fahrenheit, which is room temperature for me. Now that I warm it up, the oils seem to be at 120, 130 degrees Fahrenheit. A lot warmer than I usually have for soaps. However, since I'm not making anything fancy, I'm just going to pour it into the mold. I think it should be okay. Because this is going to be a single color embed, I added the colorants to the oils before adding the light water solution. Now that I have added the light water solution, I'm going to blend it with a stick blender until it reaches light trace. For fragrance, I will be using Indian sandalwood from Lone Star Candle Supply, which has a little bit of vanillin, however, not enough to worry me. I have used this fragrance in blends before, but this is the first time that I'm using it by itself. Something that I forgot to film was when I added a little bit of black soap dough to the cavity of the mold where the nose is supposed to be. And I hope that it will translate well in the final embed. The soap is at light trace because I want to make sure that it fills every cavity in the mold. I left it in the mold for 3 days when I was ready to make the big soap in which this embed is going to be used. I was happy with how it turned out to be. I couldn't see any major flaws in it. There was definitely room for improvement in the leg portion, but the length was actually right for the mold, which is 8 inches. I have here the oil blend and I'm also going to add rosemary oil resin to it. I have the recipe on the right, but I'm also going to link it on the description box below in case you care to see what's in here. I have warmed up the oils to 96 degrees Fahrenheit or 34 Celsius, and the light water solution is at 24 Celsius or 74 Fahrenheit. I'm going to add it and then I'm going to blend it in, just stir it, and later I'm going to use the stick blender to bring it to emulsion. I like to blend it briefly for like a few seconds and then stir it, and I alternate this until it looks like it's emulsified. And then I add the fragrance, which I'm using the same fragrance that I did for the embed, the Indian sandalwood from Lone Star Candle Supply. After blending the fragrance in, I'm going to divide the mix into 7 containers. Yes, 7. I'm doing 7 colors. This is the first time that I've done this many colors in one soap. This is a quick look at what the colors are. Yes, I am making a rainbow soap. Initially, I was going to use small amounts of each colorant so that in the end it would look like a pastel rainbow. However, in the end, I had a change of heart and I did strong colors. I wish I had stuck to the pastel colors though, and you will see why at the end. By the time I was done blending all the colors, they were at light to medium trays, so I was trying to hurry up to get them in the mold before they became too thick. I did mess up the order of the colors because after the blue, the purple was supposed to go in and it didn't go in. I forgot about it even though I was using a rainbow order chart. This is one of the most difficult soaps I have made, and not because of the colors necessarily, but because of the subject. It is the collaboration, as you know, it's about memories, and you choose a memory and make a soap based on that. And I chose the memory of my dog Queenie, She passed away in 2017, and even though we only had her for a couple years, it was actually a very sad moment in our lives. And whenever I saw her picture and I was doing the mole, she just kept coming to my mind, and that made it very difficult. I actually made a video with her story, and in case you like listening and watching sad videos, I will link it also below in the description box. The next day, since I was curious to see what it looked and it felt somewhat hard, I went ahead and removed it from the mold to cut it. And this was when I thought that it would have been better if the rainbow was a pastel color so that she would have made a better contrast against it. I also found that I created some accidental pointy layers when I pouring it. And this is what it looks like 1 month later. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week. Bye!